Before we get started, if you enjoy these lessons and want to keep improving every day, feel free to subscribe to our channel. It truly helps us grow and ensures you never miss a new lesson. All right, let's jump in. You know, sometimes I think about how powerful goals really are. Goals can change the direction of your whole life. And today, in day 23, we're talking about habits and personal growth. The small things you do every day that slowly shape who you become. And honestly, this topic is one of my favorites.
Oh, yeah, I get that. Because when you think about it, personal growth isn't about one big moment. It's about those tiny choices we make every single day. And sometimes we don't even notice how much we're changing until we look back.
Exactly. And maybe you, the person listening right now, has felt this too. Maybe you've had that moment of, wow, I didn't realize I've gotten better.
It happens, especially with English. Right. And speaking of that, let me ask you something, and feel free to comment your answer below. What's one small thing you've improved this year? It could be speaking a little more confidently, or understanding conversations more easily, or maybe just the fact that you didn't quit. That counts too.
Yes, absolutely. And don't be shy. I love reading your comments because every story reminds me how strong learners can be. And sometimes your comment inspires someone else who feels stuck.
By the way, let's talk about a simple but powerful truth. Personal growth doesn't feel dramatic. It feels ordinary, like brushing your teeth, like drinking water, like watching this lesson. You don't notice the change each day, but the change is happening.
Yes. And that's why today's topic is so important. Because if you understand how daily habits shape you, you can choose habits that lead you toward the person you want to be.
Before we continue, take a second and think, what's one habit I'm proud of? Just one. If something comes to your mind, keep it with you because we're going to build on that today.
And don't worry if you feel like you don't have a good habit yet, or if you think, oh no, I'm not consistent, that's okay. Everyone starts somewhere. Even the strongest habits begin with one tiny decision.
Exactly. And today, we'll explore what habits really are, how they form, and how you can use them to grow, not just in English, but in your whole life.
So take a deep breath, relax your shoulders, and let's start building the best version of you, one gentle step at a time.
All right, let's keep this going. And hey, if you're still here with us, that already shows something important. It shows you care about growing, and that's a habit by itself.
Right. And I want to start this part with the simple question for you. Think about it carefully. What is one habit you wish you had? Maybe reading every day, maybe practicing English, maybe exercising? Take a moment and, if you want, tell us in the comments. You never know. Your answer might motivate someone else.
You know, habits are funny. They feel small, they feel simple, but they have this incredible power to shape your whole mood, your whole energy, even your future. And one thing I've learned is this: a good habit doesn't need to be big, it just needs to be repeated.
Right. And here's a soft truth that many people forget. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your habits, meaning your habits are the real foundation. If they're strong, you grow. If they're weak, you struggle.
Let me give you a quick example. Let's say your goal is, I want to speak English fluently. Beautiful goal. But if your daily habit is only watching English videos, passively, and never speaking, never repeating, then the goal stays a dream.
Yes. But if your habit is small, something like I repeat 3 sentences every day, or I speak for 2 minutes alone in my room, or even I watch one lesson with full attention, suddenly that dream starts moving closer.
And here's the cool part, and I really love this. When you create one small habit, it often triggers another habit. You practice English for 5 minutes. Then you start listening more. Then you start thinking in English. And suddenly your brain wakes up and says, oh yeah, I can do this.
Let me ask you something. Have you ever thought, I want to change my life, but I don't know where to start? Many learners feel this, and the answer is surprisingly simple. You start with one tiny action you can repeat tomorrow. Nothing big, nothing dramatic, just something repeatable.
Yes, that's the magic word, repeatable. If a habit is too big, your brain will resist. But if it's small, almost easy, your brain says, sure, I can do that.
So, in this part, I want you, the listener, to think of one repeatable habit for English. Just one. It could be repeating 3 sentences, listening to one short audio, writing one small comment in English. Choose something small, something gentle, something real.
And if you want extra motivation, write it in the comments below. Trust me, when you write it publicly, something changes. You feel committed, you feel supported, and you feel part of a community of learners.
All right, hold that habit in your mind. We're going to take it and build something even stronger in the next part. Let's take that small habit you chose and gently turn it into something more meaningful. But don't worry, we're not making it harder. We're just making it clearer so your mind knows exactly what to do.
Right. Because a habit without structure usually disappears after 2 or 3 days. You've probably felt that before, right? Starting something strong, then life gets busy, and the habit quietly fades away.
So, in this part, we'll talk about something simple but powerful: habit cues, the little signals that remind your brain, hey, it's time to do this.
Let me give you a quick example. If your new English habit is repeating 3 sentences a day, your cue could be right after brushing your teeth, or right before you check your phone, or while drinking water in the morning.
Exactly. And you know, when a habit is connected to something you already do, your brain doesn't feel stressed. It feels natural, almost automatic.
Here's a fun truth. Your brain loves routines because routines save energy. So when you connect your new English habit to something familiar, you're giving your brain a shortcut.
Let's make it practical. Take the habit you chose earlier. Now, imagine the moment in your day when you can link it to another action. For example, if your habit is listening to one short English audio, your cue could be when I sit down at my desk. If your habit is saying a short sentence out loud, your cue could be after I close my laptop for the day.
And here's something learners often forget. You don't need motivation to build habits. You need consistency. Motivation comes and goes, but consistency stays.
Yes, and consistency becomes easier when your habits are small, gentle, and connected to your day. Let me ask you, what time of day do you feel calm enough to practice English? Morning? Evening? During lunch? You can tell us in the comments if you want.
And don't worry if your schedule feels messy. Habits can grow even in messy lives, as long as they have clear cues.
Think of them like little anchors that stabilize your day.
Before we move on, close your eyes for a second if you can. Picture yourself doing your new habit tomorrow. See it, feel it, hear it. That mental rehearsal makes the habit twice as likely to stick.
All right, keep the cue and the habit fresh in your mind. In the next part, we'll talk about how to reinforce it so your progress doesn't get lost along the way. Let's slow down a little and take a warm, honest look at something we all deal with. Even when our habits are small and gentle, there are days when we just don't feel like doing them.
Yeah, it happens to every learner.
And that's why this part is so important. Because if you understand how to handle those low energy days, your English habits will survive and even grow stronger.
All right, here's the key idea for this part. Make your habits flexible, not fragile. A fragile habit breaks the moment life gets busy. A flexible habit adjusts and keeps going.
Let me give you an example. Imagine your original habit is, I will practice English for 5 minutes after dinner. But today you're tired, stressed, or maybe emotionally drained. Instead of skipping the habit entirely, you can shrink it gently to something like, I will say just one English sentence. Just one.
Exactly. One sentence still counts. It keeps the habit alive, and your brain says, oh, we're still doing this. Good.
There's a psychological trick here too. When you keep a habit alive on a difficult day, your confidence grows faster than on easy days because you didn't give up, even when things weren't perfect.
You know, learning a language is not about doing big things occasionally. It's about doing small things consistently. Small things with heart, with intention, with kindness to yourself.
That's why we want you to think about this question. What is your minimum version of your habit? The effortless, tiny version you can still do even on your most difficult days.
It doesn't need to be impressive. It just needs to exist. Because when you protect your habits on bad days, your good days become 10 times more productive.
Let's pause for a moment. Take a breath, think of your habit, and quietly decide what the tiny version will be.
Great. Now, in the next part, we'll strengthen that habit even further by adding one simple technique that makes your brain enjoy doing it. Yes, enjoy it. Let's continue. All right, let's bring everything together with something powerful, something most learners never think about. If you want your habits to last, your brain needs to enjoy doing them. Not every time, but often enough that the habit feels rewarding.
Exactly. Because here's the truth. We don't repeat things that only feel stressful. We repeat things that feel good, even in small ways. So today, we'll help you connect English practice to a gentle feeling of satisfaction.
Let's start with a simple idea. Reward your habit immediately. Right after you complete your tiny English habit, give your brain something pleasant. A relaxing breath, a small, good job, a smile, or a quick moment of pride. These tiny rewards actually train your brain to love the routine.
Exactly. Here's a real example. Let's say your habit is, I will read one English sentence before bed. After you read it, take one deep breath and say softly, nice. I did it. That feeling becomes a signal to your brain. This habit feels good, and your brain wants to repeat it.
It might sound too simple, but this method is used by psychologists, athletes, and even musicians to build strong, lifelong habits. Because the moment right after the habit is when your brain learns the fastest.
Let's go further with another example. Imagine your habit is speaking English for 1 minute. After you finish, do something enjoyable. Sip a warm drink, stretch gently, or even listen to a sound you like. Linking the habit to a pleasant moment makes the habit feel natural, almost comforting.
And here's something important. Your reward doesn't need to be big. Small is better because small rewards can happen every day without stress or pressure. Just a warm feeling of, I showed up for myself today. Just a warm feeling of, I showed up for myself today.
Before we wrap up today's lesson, I want to ask you something. What reward feels natural for you? Something tiny, something true, something that makes your habit feel alive.
Take a moment and choose one. Hold it in your mind. Let it feel real. That feeling is part of your learning journey now.
You're building habits the gentle, powerful way, not through force, but through consistency and self-kindness.
And we're proud of you. Truly, you're showing up day after day, and that's what makes learners grow.
All right, when you're ready, we'll move to the next day of your challenge. And trust me, it only gets better from here.